So this little blue pill right here is actually called Methylene Blue. Now it comes in different forms, but did you know that it's 100 years old? One of the first drugs to ever be created. And it's just blue dye. You've probably seen the blue toilet bowls, blue tongues. It's even gotten political. Which I'm not gonna lie, seems a little gimmicky. But did you know that this is quite the performance enhancer? Yes, this blue dye. Muscular endurance, energy, fueling neurogenesis. These are the energy engines themselves that it's helping, the mitochondria. And today, well, my brothers, if you've seen any of my other videos, you know exactly where we're headed. The what, the how, the when to take it, the why you should take it or shouldn't take it, depending on your situation. Some things you probably haven't heard before, the fact that, well, it's found in ICUs to help patients overcome a very particular thing, which we'll talk about. And the fact that you definitely haven't heard this before, well, it actually prevents the pump. You would think that a cellular enhancer that increases oxygen, or does it, would increase the pump. Well, we're going to find out everything, including the fact that when you take too much of any cellular enhancer, we're going to go over all of them, by the way, well, you might feel a little overstimulated. So I'm going to tell you exactly what to take to prevent that altogether so you can have the best time with it. My brothers, this is Methylene Blue. Let's get it.
You are now in the presence of a...
So what is this weird dye, methylene blue? What is it exactly? Discovered in 1876 as a textile dye, methylene blue is, well, it's nothing more than just blue dye. And fun fact, by the early 1900s, it actually became the first fully synthetic drug used in medicine. And then came along the 30s, it was being tested as a cyanide antidote. And then during World War II, it was used to treat malaria. Famously quoted, "We pee Navy blue." 1950s, it literally became the chemical blueprint for a whole generation of drugs. Antipsychotics. Will this cause suppression of my natural testosterone? Will this lead to hair loss? Will it mess with my hormones? And where can I buy this stuff? All questions answered right here in this supplement encyclopedia. Pick it up below. All right, back to it. And today, well, this one's actually approved by the FDA, which we never see, but this one's just blue dye after all. That's all it is. Specifically, though, around a very rare blood disease known as methylomania. Say that one really fast. Parkinson's as well, and then depression, anxiety, fatigue, Alzheimer's, that's a big one. Biohacking community is where it kind of has been for many years, and now somehow it's made its way to the muscle building world, thanks to Vigorous Steve and a whole bunch of other YouTubers, or just people talking about it in general. It seems to have come back up because of the cellular generation properties. ATP, more of it's produced by the mitochondria, giving us more energy for the gym and therefore more muscle. So here's exactly how it works. So of course you're going to swallow the pill, or if it's liquid, you'll swallow that too. It's going to make its way to the liver, where it's going to convert to leucomethylene blue, which this is its final conversion before it makes its way to every single cell, the mitochondria within it, which is the energy driver or the ATP producer. This goes up. And it does so by acting as a mitochondrial electron carrier, which just ensures that the energy that we have all throughout the day, that chain doesn't break, especially in times of cellular stress, aka just the stressors of life. Think of it kind of like a backup generator for your mitochondria. So much so that ICUs even use this for critical cases, though, coma and anesthesia recovery, primarily because it can lead to serotonin syndrome, which we'll talk more here in a second. TLDR, though, for now, what you need to know is more ATP, more energy, less oxidative stress. Don't think more oxygen production, just think better use of it. And what about the benefits? The muscle building benefits, and of course, the feel-good benefits. It enhances oxygen use, like we just mentioned, and it probably just leads to a delay in muscle fatigue. Other things, improves focus, memory. It significantly reduces Alzheimer's, kind of like resistance training by itself does for us. And this one's a really interesting one from a bodybuilding perspective. Listen up. It also inhibits SGC, which in layman's terms, at higher dosages, actually tightens the blood vessels. So there's less nitric oxide, aka just less vasodilation, or the opening of the capillaries, the pump, unfortunately. Which means that while this is a great, and I just threw one up, caught it in my mouth. That was last seen. So just imagine I just did that. It is going to improve mental clarity and you are going to feel mentally sharper. But in terms of pump, well, it's not going to necessarily lead to those skin curling ones you're hoping for when you think of more oxygenation. But remember, this is better use of it, not more of it. Mitochondrial cellular level, it's going to give you energy. Pumps, not so much. This is why you often hear Vigorous Steve talking about pairing it with SLU-PP332, which also, yes, increases mitochondrial throughput. But more importantly, it's going to counter Methylene Blue's anti-pump properties by drawing some of that better used oxygen finally into the muscles. So why does this even matter for lifters, bodybuilders, people looking to gain muscle? 400 milligrams of caffeine is a lot. I'll be the first to tell you it's stupid to take a pre-workout, especially if you're only working out for 45 minutes. But if you can work out longer than that, I'm jealous. However, it's a lot of fun in the aspect that, your dopamine goes up like crazy. Your neurotransmitters are firing. When you step into the gym, you feel like a boss. Like no one's going to mess with you. I got this. I don't know why I said no one's going to mess with you. Nothing can bring you down. Don't let people bother you. But when you're done, you crash. And it sucks, right? Felt good, now you feel like crap. Well, that's what creatine is in the cellular world. Not in the aspect that you crash, but in the aspect that the cellular production, the mitochondria of ATP is happening very quickly. Boom, done. Much like when you go to the gym, you get on a treadmill, you burn those calories running, and then, you can go home and eat, and you would, essentially what was burned there is done. However, if you were to use hypertrophy or resistance training in general, afterwards, you go home and the afterburn effect would take place. And here you are, still burning calories, doing nothing. So creatine is the cardio. Methylene Blue and everything else that we're about to talk about is really the resistance training side of it, for the analogy. CoQ10, this one's going to help keep the energy engine humming. PQQ, it's going to help to quercetin is going to help to prevent burnout of that mitochondria. Because trust me, this one's important in the aspect, if it gets too hot, you take too much, you're going to feel a little agitated, a little stimulated. This is going to help. PQQ is going to create new mitochondria. So new energy engines. NAD, this one's going to help shuttle that energy or that food into energy. And then we've got Shilajit, which is my all-time personal favorite. Guys, this one's packed with minerals. It's going to support the mitochondria. And all of these together, it is a lot, like I said, but each one of them combined, especially with Methylene Blue, is going to help fight oxidative stress, especially when you're on TRT or you're taking a prohormone stack or really anything anabolic or androgenic. That said, like I said, this is a lot. And I don't want you just diving in, but if you do, some of you are going to, here's what you can take with it. So if you do push that mitochondria a little bit too hard or that neurogenesis button a little bit too long, you are going to feel it. And when you do, here's what to do about it. First one, L-theanine, which this is going to protect the neurons or calm the neurons. GABA. This is going to protect you from overdrive, from mass cellular mitochondrial overstimulation. Then we got 5-HTP and KSM66, one of the biggest names right now, ashwagandha. Both of these are going to help calm some of that stress, for acute stress that you may feel from it. And lastly, you've got citrulline malate, beetroot, Cialis, Viagra, PDE5 inhibitors. All are going to open up the blood vessels to counter some of that methylene blue constriction of them. All right. So how do we use this? So you may be tempted to judge me when I tell you the milligrams that I take. 10 milligrams to 60 milligrams is the common dose. That's a wide range, 0.45 milligrams per pound. Don't exceed 90 milligrams. I don't even know how you could even get to 60 milligrams. Guys, I take 22 supplements every single day. I showed you how many cellular enhancers I take. For some reason, this is the only one that I have to titrate or I have to watch how much I take. I can't even take a 15 milligram pill. I have to literally break this open and make my mouth blue, even though it's not liquid, and that's the whole point of a pill. Guys, liquid, by the way, versus pill form. Let's not get caught up in this because we're going to start talking about peptides and stuff. The reality is that if for some reason you believe that pills do not work, look, they work. Liver-wise, though, some of it's going to be lost, and the digestive tract, the acids, but nevertheless, just dose up. I can't even take a full pill. But I might be weird like that. Typically what I do is once every other day. Like I said, it's a lot for me. I personally, if I were you and I could handle this stuff, I would go every 3 days, take a day off every 3 days. After about 6 weeks, take a full 2 weeks off, and then you can get back on it. You're going to want to be sure you take it pre-workout or in the morning, not in the evening. This stuff will keep you up. And always use pharma grade. Guys, there are aquarium Methylene Blues on Amazon. Do not pick that up. That is not safe for human consumption. And lastly, and definitely not least, the side effects and any potential risks. So a low dose, despite how I view it, 10 to 40 milligrams a day. And at this dose, be expecting some mild nausea. You might feel it when you go to the bathroom the first couple times. You may get a headache. Your pee will be blue. That's guaranteed. 40 to 60 milligrams is going to be more intermediate. Don't start there. Now, I know I said that 90 milligram mark was the cap, but if you exceed 60 milligrams, be prepared. That headache, well, it might turn into chest tightness. You might feel more jittery, anxious, maybe even a little dizzy. And in some cases, yeah, your blood pressure could go up. Which, yes, can also happen at a lower dose. Just ask me. 15 milligrams taken for 3 days, my blood pressure went up. Typically, if you feel bad, you have anxiety, it's your physiology telling you something is wrong. That anxiety that you think you have about that thought is not actually it. It's your central nervous system not being centered. It's you losing control over it. So, do not take this right before bed. You will absolutely get insomnia. You will not be able to sleep. And for the love of God, if you have not taken this before, do not take this with other stimulants. Keep it simple, stupid. Start at the lowest dose possible and work your way up. So if you've heard of Methylene Blue before, you may have heard the side effect. This one, guys, is uber important. It's a very, very potent MAOI inhibitor, which, by the way, is exactly what SSRIs, SNRIs, antidepressants, this is what they do. So if you're taking an antidepressant, an SSRI, SNRI of any kind, unless your doctor tells you otherwise, do not touch this stuff. Don't do it. Or you're potentially staring down the barrel of serotonin syndrome, which, though rare, has been reported. Here's another one, guys. If you have a G6PD deficiency, meaning that your red blood cells have a tendency to break apart, hemolysis, Methylene Blue puts stress on those cells, which could make it even worse. So this one's also rare, but it can happen at higher dosages. Methylene Blue is extensively metabolized within the liver. So just be sure you monitor your hepatic enzymes, getting that blood work. That is very important here. Woo! We did it. Methylene Blue is in the books, my brothers. I love you. Until next week. This one right here, by the way, it stacks well with Methylene Blue. Enjoy. Until then, I love you, because I'm going to say it again because, well, it's not said enough, especially in our world. We're big and macho, but the real macho is, well, being true to yourself. And that means love. Sorry to be corny. Until next week, stay safe and stay. Click it. Swole. My brothers.